Have you ever beheld such a glorious sight? What is up, Kingsman? Welcome back to the Napoleonic Total War 3 battlefield. Today we have a 4v4 with plenty of Austrians. So if Austria is a faction you love, well, this is the battle for you. Now, we have on the field a 9-point Rosenberg, a 9-point Bellegarde, a Hohen's 8-point Hohenzollern? I don't know. And then Hiller. That's the only one. I gotta look that up. I don't know how to pronounce that one. But they're going up. Of course, they are going as the corps, and they're going up against the French, who I believe are taking some of the same corps. A very, very good battle, guys. This one's going to be an awesome clans on both sides. I don't know. I don't think this was actually an official tournament battle. It was just a good fight. I honestly don't have the results. Maybe I'll find if I can get those before I render the video. But yeah, so they are obviously advancing, almost all of them. Hiller is kind of going off on a maybe a flank. I don't know. He's kind of marching up here, maybe going to take up this side. The Austrians are holding some high ground outside of the city, which is going to be very good for their artillery to be set up. They do have some cavalry hidden in the trees over here. Dragoons, or Chevaliers, sorry. All Chevaliers, and they're just waiting here. They're going to wait for the French to do something. Now, of course, they can't see very far because they are not light cav. But if France tries rolling this way, they are definitely going to run into that cavalry. But it looks like, yeah, like I said, the coalition consolidating in this area. Cavalry just kind of screening. They did not bring a lot of cavalry, as you can see. But they did bring a couple light infantry, some just light cav. Like I said, 1 or 2 Chevaliers. France is going to be bringing probably some Chevaliers. I don't know if they'll probably bring some Dragoons. Yep, here we go. We got some Dragoons here for France. And more light cav, which are scouting up front. Like I said, they've taken this LOC, they've taken this town, so I imagine that the coalition is going to have to make some kind of a push. Because we look at the map here, LOC advantage is not in favor of the coalition. Where France stands right now, France is going to win by LOC. Of course, the battle has just started, basically. I mean, it's 8 minutes in. They have 52 minutes to make some kind of move. They got plenty of time, and I can imagine the artillery is going to start hammering the French in this town. I mean, this is as good of a position as it is for LOC. This is definitely a coalition advantage with the slope of the hill. I mean, look at actually how significant of a slope this is. Like, that is quite significant along the whole side. Then, of course, the trees. And a nice open field here for both sides to make some good plays. Once, of course, everybody gets in position, we have some skirmishers now moving down the hill, maybe some cavalry support. And, of course, we do have some French infantry making their way to the front lines. Now, maybe these are sappers, maybe they have stakes or something. Nice long line. Of course, the rest of the French way back there. So, Austria may actually have an advantage for a moment. I mean, obviously, oh wow, there's Polish. So there's probably 2 French, 1 Polish, and 1 Bavarian army all combined. That's kind of cool. You don't get to see a lot of those other factions a lot of the time, so, you know, makes it a lot more exciting. But the nice thing for this position for Austria, they can shelter, if needed, troops behind this hill. Now, I cannot imagine that they are going to stay back. They are going to be probably very aggressive. Like I said, at least 2 or 3 of the French armies won't be here for another 5 to 10 minutes. And at that point, France maybe can set a huge momentum. We got all the Austrians rolling on this side. Rosenberg brings a lot of troops to the field. I can imagine, yep, we have some skirmishers in the town already that have been spotted. Just crouching and waiting. Artillery for France already firing. And actually, massive artillery battery I'm not sure what they're firing at exactly. Looks like they were maybe trying to go for some cavalry. Got 3 of those. We may actually have some cavalry action over here. We do have infantry. These guys cannot form square. So obviously some skirmishers with them, but I do believe these chasseurs cheval, I don't know. An experienced player is not just going to throw chasseurs cheval into anything without, you know, it being a possibility of getting free kills. That would not be an encouraging sight. Ooh, it's not going to load. It's quite a significant push Austria's making down the hill. Hiller still is way on the left flank. Artillery, though, is starting to crash down in the center. France definitely has some field of fire. And they're going to utilize it as best as they can. You see the skirmishers shooting at some cavalry, trying to drive them back. This right flank, though, looking pretty serious, actually. This is looking like a significant push. You can see even Bellegarde is pushing up here with Rosenberg. We may even have, yep, some more troops shifting over. I think they're going to commit to a right flank here. With Hiller being in reserve, Hiller, if you do not know already, is a very powerful 10-pointer. I mean, they talk about some of the best troops you've ever seen. Artillery for Austria, though, set up in a nice position way back, overlooking the town. France has just a nice little skirm deployment here in front. Looks like he's shifting more cavalry over. I think they're realizing this right flank is going to get a little more serious. And the reinforcing armies here are going to take a minute to get up. And if Austria can take a lot of ground right here, they can either force the French to have to shift through the forest to hit their flank, or they're going to fight in a smaller, confined space than before, and then let Austria make a lot more pushes here. Now, you can see a couple casualties here. This is a risk by Austria. I mean, they're hidden. But still, I mean, the French guns are smashing down right in this area. These guns could easily get hit. See, like this is some danger close up. Now it's a risk maybe worth taking. You know, this early on, it's a nice position for 10-pounders to be in. I'm still liking this push. I mean, Austria is just going for it. You see all the cavalry for the most part is the only thing there, and it's scrambling. And they're trying to reshuffle around forces. And another reason why this right flank is probably a good idea, that's because the artillery. Look at this. Artillery can't even shoot this army. They can only shoot this direction. If the Austrians don't even push and they just push on this right flank, it's going to force a lot of artillery to have to relocate if they want to be at all effective. Or, and this is also not a bad idea, is leaving the artillery to basically defend this flank and shift a lot of the infantry over here to help on this side. Use your artillery to hold back an army. But we definitely have a push on the flank of the town here by Austria, going straight towards the enemy. France is in the town, has a lot of troops. What are these? These are a lot of different looking troops. Very colorful. Oh my goodness. Artillery's already starting to focus down this, but we have skirmishers already starting to fire on the Austrians as they're pushing up. Austria not even interested in stopping yet. They are going to push forward a little bit, probably closer, and then pour in some volleys. Or pour in some volleys from here. That's probably going to hurt. Ooh, both sides seem to be firing pretty fast. And the losses have been very slight so far. We do have a French line formed up ready to meet them. Looks like they have militia or some kind of citizenry in the front lines. But Austria is definitely doesn't seem too concerned. Why would they be, you know? Why would they be concerned about that. So there's one French army still, and you can see France is still trying to shuffle over more and more troops to the side. And Austria can definitely shoot, I would say, better. Skirmishers that are now pushed up engaging, so it's a skirm v skirm. No cavalry yet engaging. Artillery being able to support in the town. And this right flank, not a lot of action happening. All the artillery is probably, yep, they're focusing down this cavalry, which this is a good Dragoon unit. France probably wants to hide that behind the town. And the problem is, Austria seems to have a good artillery, ooh. Okay, so we're starting to see a lot more troops showing up here. We have some light infantry, more Dragoons. We have horse artillery from the Polish, as well as some skirmishers. We have Bavarian lines, looks like some light infantry, so there is definitely a lot more troops now showing up. Austria is getting hammered. Oh my goodness. That tore a huge line, or a huge hole in the line. Austria is falling back here just because they need some reinforcements. Their right flank could start to get pushed. They need to consolidate a little bit more of their forces. Hiller seems to be shifting over his forces now to the right-hand side, as that obviously seems to be where the most of the fighting is happening. Bellegarde still pushing up, so Austria has a lot of forces on the field at this point in time. It's just like a sea of muskets and flags. But you can see Austria has fallen back. They were starting to take some of the pressure. They're starting to get some pressure on the French, but with reinforcements showing up, it's going to make it a little more difficult. Which is going to give France a chance to rest up or reorganize themselves here a little bit. Make sure they have the troops deployed in the right place. You can see Austria shifting troops along the side. Obviously, this may be a bit of a push here. Ooh, we have some more Chevaliers from Bavaria. Here come more Bavarians. And so the duel or the fight will be in the field. That is just awesome to see. Look at that. Ooh boy. This is going to be a good one. Looks like the Polish may... Nah. Okay, so France looks like they are going to be taking the town. This one French army holding this right flank with the artillery, plus holding the town. Then we have the other three armies marching out into the field here to engage Austria. Keep in mind, guys, Hiller is not even engaged yet. And once Hiller shows up, things are going to heat up. I'm to be surprised if this 8-pointer shifts more reserves over to the side. I don't think they have to worry about getting pushed here, at least not right now. France is mostly in the town. They don't want to lose infantry, you know, to this artillery while they're not doing anything. Still just a little bit of a skirmish. Both sides seem to be wanting to set up. I'm surprised that France isn't trying to push forward here, especially with the Bavaria in the front lines almost. Plenty of Austrian reserves, especially with Hiller pushing up though. There's so much maneuvering. It's like half this game, but I love it. You know, it's such an amazing part of the game and so crucial to being able to actually win a game or not. You have to know how to maneuver your lines, how to put the right troops in the right places, having a good reserve, having your cav positioned and your artillery positioned in a proper place, and having your reinforcements, making sure your allies go into the right direction. Now, both sides obviously are pushing troops over together. Like, both sides are coordinating well. as we now have even more French soldiers showing up on this side. Poland looks like they'd be trying to hold themselves in a bit of a reserve behind all their artillery.
Sir, our general is under attack.
Maybe some French artillery. Like I said, the horse artillery is probably going to move. Ooh, Hiller looked to be a little bit in the crossfires there. Oh, wow. That is going to start hurting quite quickly. As these poor Austrians are going to stand here and take artillery fire. Yeah, that's going to start really hurting. And there's nothing you can do about that artillery right now. There's way too much infantry around. Now, I'm really surprised France doesn't seem to be deploying themselves. You know, I'm not sure if they're going to have Poland push up here and then they're going to push across. Looks like there is some Bavarian troops here. Maybe just a regular line infantry, I'm not sure. But Poland is obviously the reserve force here. Pretty massive gun battery that's just smacking around this poor Austrian unit. Austria still, you know, shifting over their forces. Looks like Bavaria has now formed up. France is still forming up their troops in a line of battle, and the question is, who is going to attack first? You see the French light infantry pushing up as well. Polish still in reserve. It does look like France is actually going to make an advance, though. And Austria is going to receive that attack. You can see Hiller moving back behind. Wherever he moves could probably be a very significant change if he's able to roll through and then assault column his way into Bavaria, who is actually probably the best person to attack. This could go well for them. Man, so many lines, so many flags on a field. Could you imagine in real life being able to like stand, you know, way back and watch? You know, okay, so we definitely have a bit more of a push here. Austria is actually pushing up here against France. France does not have very much. We can see Austria is pushing up skirmishers, even as line infantry who pushed up across into the kind of the outskirts of the town here. France is kind of shuffling forces around to meet them. And Austria is starting to put a little more pressure on this side. Now, the poor Austrians. Oh, we actually have an engagement here. We actually have the French advancing to attack the Austrian position. And both sides seem to actually be firing at a decent pace, which is very good. It means that not a lot of musket bug. Both sides can shoot. It's going to put more of a challenge, of course, on the coalition. Oh my gosh. Poor Austria. They have lost so... They literally look at the death from artillery. So he's going to obviously fall back. They don't need to take that fight. They just got to take the fight. I mean, France now can start shifting over, but they don't want to block their artillery from firing. Well, it looks like there's an advance along the entire line. So we do have artillery, though, supporting the Austrian defense. Ooh, nice shot on the... Oh, my gosh. This French line, I mean, they're reforming their line pretty quickly here. You got some cavalry pushing up as well. We may actually have some action. Bavaria is pushing up. Austria has a nice flank in the forest here. You can see they have... Oh my gosh. How many Austrians are in this tree line? This is an entire striking arm. This could flank France so badly. In Austria, I mean, France doesn't even know it's here. They don't even know. Okay, this look like, surprisingly, or not surprising maybe, I mean, they're facing 10-pounders. France is actually breaking, and the artillery is just brutalizing them. France is going to probably need to take a different approach here. They are obviously not winning this. They can sit back. If I was France, I would sit back and let the Austrians attack me. You know, you have artillery. Let them attack. They are pressing the advantage. Now, we do have Hiller in reserve, quite literally in reserve. All his troops, minus... Ooh, the Deutschmeister. Oh, he's setting up the Deutschmeister. This is like the best of his men. The best of the Austrians. He's pushing it forward here. And, man, this attack from France is... It's not a bad attack, but they're not doing much, and they're just dying to artillery fire. Especially this whole section right here. I would do something. I mean, I just watched this, actually, I watched this in a video recently about formations and how the French used to push up to assault. Like, obviously, you'd have, like, you know, I think it was 2, 4, 6 lines. The Grenadier Regiment was on the right flank. Skirmisher Voltigeur unit was on the left flank, and they would push up and skirm. They would advance, though, in, like, lines of 2. So you'd be 3 deep, 2 across. And it was good for advancing quickly and being able to react to cavalry engagements and all that, but you couldn't fire as fast, and artillery could just punch through multiple lines at once. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. You can see the artillery is just tearing through three lines of French infantry here. Look at that. Like, spread out your reserves a little bit, France. Unless, ooh, gosh. Unless you're planning on doing an assault, very quickly doing an assault, don't have all your troops bunched up in one little area. This is probably something they'll probably fix it. I imagine they'll fix it. They probably were working other places. Who knows? Whatever else is going on. We do have Austria pushing still. It's just a slow and steady push on the French. But still, it seems to be doing some work, you know? And the artillery support from Austria on the hill is going beautifully. Now, we may have Hiller getting up into the front lines here. Yep, looks like Hiller is going to be pushing up. It's not a full-on battle yet. I mean, there's a lot of engagement obviously happening right here between Austria and Bavaria. It's very nice. And this looks like it's the light infantry of Bavaria, along with light infantry of France. This actually may be a good target if you want to go for an infantry assault. We do have the Deutschmeister pushing up. Hiller is taking on the French, it does look like. Let's see what these guys can do here. Fire! Now they have some good accuracy and some good reload skill here, so they're going to be quite deadly. But you see France is actually going to react to this by pushing up more troops onto the flank a little bit. This is looking to be heating up quite a bit more. You can see, oh, more Hiller pushing up. We have this right flank now coming out of the tree line. Probably something that the French were not in Bavaria, was not expecting to see so many Austrians pushing out here. This is beautiful. And Bavaria is actually going to have to shift more forces. They are stretching their line along this whole side. And, oh, they made a huge mistake by marching backwards. I mean, there's nothing you can do. I mean... Oh, man. Oh, man. France and Bavaria may be in a bit of a pickle here. Austria is just starting to shift up so much. They're shifting up so much, so ready to make this fight. You notice though, I will say this, look at how much cav is not being used. And here we go, yep. Oh man, they ran away. See, they're running away, and that is actually going to make this that much more difficult for France to kind of save it, because Austria just, every time France runs away, Austria gets closer and closer. They're getting closer and closer each time. They need to make a reserve. I don't know. They need to do something to stop this onslaught so they don't keep falling back. Because now they're running away, Austria's just going to start bayonet charging them. I'm surprised the cavalry hasn't come in here to capture. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The artillery's so bad. Look at all the Austrians pushing out here. It's so many troops. France, I don't think, has enough in comparison. Now, let me check here, because I do believe we still have a bit of this town fight kind of going on. Both sides kind of just exchanging fire. Nothing much happening. No bayonet charges yet. Although Rosenberg is pushing up some troops of his own. But you can see that Austria has definitely pushed up the enemy quite a bit. I'm surprised that Rosenberg isn't trying to push up here and second this charge. Now the artillery is doing damage, and France is not reacting to it. But man, Austria is pushing. He's probably going to get his Deutschmeisters out of there. They've taken some pretty significant losses. He's going to probably push up more and more reserves. Bavaria and France still falling back, but they are starting to... They actually have done an excellent job of falling back while still punishing the Austrians for their advance. Like I said, they are tearing some pretty good volleys, but they are taking some pretty bad casualties as well. I see some cavalry shifting over, though. And yep, Austria is definitely flanking. So what Bavaria is going to probably need to do, and what Austria is probably going to actually try to do, is Austria is going to try to cut off Bavaria. If they can get them before they hit the river, this whole side is going to be trapped. And that's exactly... Oh yeah, that's what they're doing. Sending in cavalry. They're going to try to force Bavaria to pull back, and they're going to lose an entire section of their army. But here we go, we got some cavalry getting ready to try to defend this side. You see, though, that Bavaria is in a bit of a pickle here. They are trying to save their cavalry as well, and here comes Austria. Austria going in for the kill. Let's see if Austria can pull this off and basically cut off a huge... It's like Dunkirk, you know? A bunch of troops were caught. Oh yeah, look at this. Cavalry going in on France. Oh my goodness. Huge cav fight, stopping this cav from being able to get across this small little choke point that's left. And the flank. Oh, in the rally, and infantry now pushing forward. Austria pushing up. Now we do have cavalry that's going to push out. Oh my goodness, the Bavarian general even in the front lines. Oh man. France may actually be trying to hold a little bit out so that the enemy can't really outflank them. This is still looking a bit messy for France. I can't get it. Look at how chaotic this looks, though. And it does look like Bavaria lost a section of their troops. Now they managed to save some of it, but still you see Austria is so close to them right now. We do have a French bayonet charge here, smacking in with some grenadiers trying to stop the Austrian onslaught. Over here it does look like France is still just doing a slow little defense here. Here is where the real action is happening. Oh wow, some troops broke, and now it's time to send in the Deutschmeister. Oh wow, Austria is sending in troops into melee against Bavaria now. Man, Austria is just killing them right now.
Our men are running, sir.
Alright, both sides trying to reform. Like I said, huge loss for the French, losing their cavalry. They probably should have just pulled it around now. It would have taken longer, but they could have pulled it back this way and had it in reserve. But I feel like there was a moment of panic for the French during the retreat with how much pressure Austria was pushing on them. This French line is looking like it. I mean, they're so close to each other. All the shots are probably going to start telling. And Austria has more troops still. Let's take a peek over here in the town. It does look like, yeah, still nothing. Where's Poland? Why isn't Poland... Wait, what is Poland doing here? Why haven't they shifted over forces to support their ally? Like, it's very obvious their ally is losing, and Poland has not even inched anything over to save their ally. Look at it, it's just sitting here. It's not even in the front lines. It's unless they're hoping to support the town fight somehow, which, I mean, they're not. They're not even fighting. This may be a huge oversight on the Imperial side, and why they may start losing. Here we go, though. Austria is going to do a bayonet charge. And the reserves, oh my goodness. The problem is, you can tell, Austria has shifted. Austria in the very beginning sent one army over here, and they're taking on basically two, because Poland's kind of just sitting here. And then 3 took on 2 more, which definitely is going to cost the coalition, well, I should say the Imperial, it's going to cost the Imperial the victory, probably. Square gets formed here by Hitler's Deutschmeister, who are in the front line still. It does look like France is falling back even more. It does. Maybe Poland is going to you know, push up and help defend this side. They could still make a stand around the LSC. I'm not sure how well it will go, but yeah, there's so much of Hitler left. This is not looking good for the coalition one bit. Now it looks like we may have. Still is a raging attrition fight here for France, although I can't tell, but maybe they're starting to win. No, Austria's just reshuffling forces over. They're not too worried about making the town their primary attack because the right flank is just doing so well. Oh, where's the cav going? Oh, oh my goodness, look at all the Hussars charging in. Lightning fast, man. Those Hussars were in and out so quickly, and now Austria, having, you know, had the cav take the blunt out of that attack, they're now going to push up. Poland seems to maybe be starting to push forward troops. They are in the wrong area still, though. There's nothing facing them. They need to maybe shift over to this side. They could do a lot more help. They have cavalry in the back that could probably help out. This is some good, I can imagine this is probably some good
We've
lancers.
taken a building, sir.
But they are shifting over troops. They are. It doesn't look like they're going to shift over lines where they're much desperately needed. France is just breaking against the massive, constant pressure. We even have a general in here. But Austria is constantly pushing forward. That'd be very disheartening to see so many Austrians and know that you don't have enough troops. You just don't have enough. Oh, we actually may have some attacks going on here. Dragoons smacking into some Kaiser Franz. What? Oh, they're getting shot by these. This infantry right here was shooting them in the flank, emptying so many saddles. And it does look like, man, France is just not winning today. Oh, Poland is finally in the front lines, throwing in the reserves. They're getting charged here, though, by more Hussars, and these Hussars are devastating this line. Wow, they broke one already. That is crazy. Didn't know Hussars could be that damaging. Just can't get over, like, how many Austrians are here. Still. And poor Poland, they got a massive, they got their work cut out for them if they want to hold. We have a French unit, maybe it was trying to go for the artillery. Get canistered.
Ordre bien reçu.
Man, the Hussars have really done well in this battle for Austria. Another charge by the Hussars, man. These guys have done so much. And they have not even lost that many troops in each of their armies, and they seem to be doing so well. They're lightning fast. By the time France gets there with the Dragoons, they're already gone. Let's see it from the Austrians' perspective here. Oh, we got a cav charge. It was kind of really pretty. So the Austrians even pushed up past the enemy guns. It's only a matter of time now, guys. That was a well-done attack. What could have been done differently? That's the question. What could have... What was the undoing for France? I think it was them pushing to support this flank. I think Bavaria pushing out to kind of encompass this and not knowing that there was basically an entire Austrian army in the forest that just popped out and then began flanking them. At the same time, it was just a beautifully well-coordinated attack by Hiller as well. Hiller was pushing the center and the right flank was pushing. You could tell it was coordinated and it was beautiful. It was gorgeous and it worked so well. They have an infantry unit inside of a square. And talk about being super safe, you know? It's very safe. Because look, Austria's finally made a win here. Excuse me. So they can now start pushing on this artillery piece. Imagine if... I think this is what I think France should have done. And this is obviously, please understand, this is just backseat generaling. I wasn't there, so I'm not going to pretend like I could have won this battle as the Imperial or done any better than they did. But I probably wouldn't have attacked the Austrian position. I would have had all the guns I could sit right here, maybe I still would have had a push right here, but I wouldn't have pushed up in the center. I would have kept my distance and let the guns do the work for me. And if they pushed, I would have fallen back and used the Spitfire as a flank and fallen back and kept letting the guns kill. You know, let your guns kill, have some cav in reserve. If they try to make any funny business like melee, then you just send in the cav. I feel like that would have been better suited. France had some amazing artillery. Unfortunately, even this artillery wasn't able to do much, and it kind of was stuck in the same position the entire time. Now, it may have helped a little bit with this town fight, but the coalition used the town fight, or the buildings, to kind of navigate away from the artillery. I mean, they were fighting on this side, this artillery was on this side, and it wasn't really able to fire. They should have limbered up the guns and moved them. That's what I would have done. Moved them over to this side, had a massive artillery battery with infantry support on each side, had a nice little hole and just been firing artillery through. That's how they should have won. Maybe they could have won that way. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. But also, I feel like maybe Poland shouldn't have been in reserve for as long as they were. They were kind of sitting back in the town and back here when the left flank was dying. Maybe they would have just died with their allies instead. Who knows? But having some extra troops here, especially after that initial huge cav fight where France got cut off, there was not enough troops from Bavaria left to kind of defend. And also the Polish cavalry maybe could have helped defend that side. You know, I mean, look how much of it they had. It was just sitting back here. It could have done a lot of good. So, that's all I'll say about that when it comes to the Imperial. Still a fun match. I enjoyed it. France was starting to get a good push maybe going. They had artillery set up beautifully. They were starting to pound away at the Austrians. You know, and the most important part, as I always say, I hope they had fun playing the match. You know, I hope it was a good game for them. Unless there is anything more significant happening, I don't think they have enough time to do an LOC.
We have killed their
Plus,
general,
all the
Now they
LOCs
must
are
break.
taken. I may skip to the very end. Like I said, I'm going to try to see if I can get the results of this battle. I can imagine it's a lot of Austrian kills and a lot of Imperial deaths. But, you know, we'll find out. So, I'll give 1 second. Alright, guys. So, here we'll see. This was sent in by the player for Hiller, I believe. Yep. Which was Matt Bob. And you see his infantry got some good kills. Man. Like, some really good kills. Top was the 260 kills. Then 183 and so on and so forth. General didn't get anything, and his L3s got 9, so they didn't get any action. But yeah, Hiller is a lot of fun to play. I actually had a chance to play him, but it looks like a lot of fun. But let me see if I can find the results. Otherwise, I will give you guys the update if I don't. Alright guys, so sadly not able to find those results or get to them in time. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was enjoyable for me. I hope it was for you guys. That'll be it for me today, guys. Thank you all so much for joining me. You have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and I'll catch you all in another video.